Good morning. Welcome back to Lone Wolf Custom Painting. I'm Don Yost, better known probably as the old man, in more circles than I would even begin to count. As in the old man, not an old man. I'm just older, not old. We talked a little bit last week about metalizers. We're going to do a little bit of playing around with that, do a couple more parts for the what do you want? One up. Come on. You want 11? Okay. Don't push me clear back across. Okay. We're going to do a little bit of shooting a little bit of the metalizer. It's simple as simple can be. We'll get the rest of the parts that have to be put for the Camaro into aluminum. Also tape off. There's several different ways of doing it. As I indicated last week, I want to show you what to do with the radiator, and also show you on the interior. Now, rule of thumb, once again I mentioned this last week, you start with light colors first. In other words, on this piece here, you would naturally paint it silver, let it flash, tape it off, and then you go with the black. Now this is part of the interior for the Camaro build. And also what I'm going to do, now I'll show you what I used to do this with. With this piece, which is the rad, the black framework actually is going to stay black, but the fins and everything we're going to do in aluminum. It gives you a nice contrast. Once again, it's a detail. It brings it out full front, and you just missed a little bit of aluminum into it. Go to bed. You missed a little bit of aluminum onto it, and I said, you know, you're wanting to go for the detail. You want to go for the realistic appearance. Back in the day, my buddy's uncle owned a radiator shop down at Carnegie, right down below from where I grew up, and he did a lot of aluminum work for the local drag racers, and also for the Roundy Pondy guys that ran at Heidelberg Raceway when I was growing up as a kid. What we're going to be using today is the aluminum plate buffing metalizer. Translation: it's aluminum colored. You can take a soft cloth after you have shot it on. It dries within, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds tops. Not even that, probably about 10. And then you take a light cloth and you buff it, and it brings out the aluminum shine to it. Now I did a couple wheels here. We'll get back to that probably a little bit later. A year or so ago, I was in Esther's Hobby Shop, which is down over the hill from the shop in Millville, and I found these. This is Tamiya masking tape, or Tamiya, whichever way you want to pronounce it. It comes in, I believe, 4 different widths. I love this stuff. A little bit later on, I'll bring out a body that I use this with. As long as you take the larger of the Tamiya cotton hobby applicators and burnish it down, you're going to get a straight, no bleed through line. I've seen, I couldn't tell you how many builds, both on the tables, on the forums, just photographs of guys putting up where it's gotten under and it's bled through. It just doesn't work, and the way I look at it is, if I'm seeing in the pictures, I know it's going to be even more prominent looking at it on a one-to-one when it's sitting on a show table or a vending table somewhere. So, that being said, this is excellent for taping off interiors. Like I said, I'm just touching on this stuff right now. This will all be in depth. You will be doing it with me. But what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to set the table, I keep using that phrase, just to give you a little taste of everything that we're going to be doing. It's all going to be in depth. You're going to be doing it right with me when I do it, but I'm just trying to get you on the same page with me. This way you've got the same product. Now, let's see. This is $7.50. So when it's all said and done, you're probably going to be spending like maybe $30. But the thing of it is, look, you always have to go the plus column and the minus column, no matter what you do in life. The plus column, the minus column. The minus column for some would say, oh my God, darn, that's $30 for tape. However, guys, gals, what's the cost of a kit these days? What's the cost of paint? So if you use this tape, it's a one and done deal. Say you don't. Say you just used Jojo Schloboda's magical masking tape, and it doesn't do the job. Okay, first off, you screwed up a paint job. Second off, you're going to be buying more paint. You're going to be stripping the body. The list just goes on and on. If you'd gone this route in the first place, you're way out ahead of the game. You do what you want to do. Now, here's another thing that's going to have people screaming. I'm going to use bare metal foil as a masker. I'll show you and tell you why. First off, I got to get this out of the way so Jake can get in close. Okay, as I indicated in past episodes, you have, this is a squadron blade. I cut the back of it off, slid it down in the knife. Now, what you want to do, you take, well, first off, let me explain something to you. We know how sharp these are. This particular blade is a scalpel blade. It makes this blade like a dull butter knife, or appear to be. It's also much thinner. That's why I like to use them with the bare metal foil application. Now, what I do is I take a red marker and I tip the blade. I color it in. Reason being is because when you are working with bare metal foil, you can watch the point of your blade. There are times when you're doing your, say, a piece of chrome on the side, you don't want to lose sight of that blade, and you're able to track it by doing this. So, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to cut a chunk, set aside. By the way, surgical scissors can't be beat. We'll discuss that when we're doing when we do a decal job. Now, simply take the foil, peel it back, set it off to the side. Now, you just lay it on, burnish it. Once again, you've got your Tamiya applicators. Now, these are the smallest ones with the tiniest point on them. This is something that you use, especially when you want to get down in. Everything's at an angle, and I'll show you. And like I said, once again, you know, it's all going to be in depth. A little bit later on. All right, Jake, can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let me get my, oops, sorry, kid. Let me get my blind man's helmet on here. Make sure you burnish down in the corners and everything so it's all tight. Then, angle the blade into the edge and allow the blade just to follow along. Now, it always helps have a pair of tweezers, grab hold of the piece you just cut off. Alright. Trim it. Trim it. And just lightly tuck it around. Because what you want to do, you want to make sure this is masked off. Alright, you can use some of these spare pieces to do this too. Once again, you're on this side. You want to burnish it down, tuck it in tight. Again, at an angle. You want to go in against the edge. Dalton's gonna be snoring here pretty soon, Jake. I can tell. Why you do me wrong? Okay, now what you want to do, you want to revarnish this so it's nice and tight. Okay, same thing with the other side. Just cut a smaller piece. Now you could do the same thing with the tape. I just find this easier because what I love about this stuff is it goes in tight and it's not thick and it's easily removable. It's much easier to work with than masking tape. The Tamiya tape can be used in the same application, and I have done so numerous times. Okay, we got enough to tuck it over top there. Once again, burnish. You know, make sure that you're in tight too. Once again. Down we go on both sides. Now you can always touch this in. It's no big deal. But, you know, if you take the time to do this, you're not going to have to really worry about it. Not that, you know, it'll be perfect. You know, sometimes, you know, Murphy has his way. But I've found that this is the best way to do this. Alright, so we're doing a tucking around here. How we doing? Can you see what I'm doing, kid?
Mm-hmm.
Good deal. That's my boy, Jakey. That's my boy. Would help if I didn't try to punch on myself with these. I can hear John Snyder right now. You've lost your mind. John Snyder considers bare metal foil the Antichrist of modeling. I showed him how to do it 1,000,001 times. Stubborn child. Make it easier on myself this time. That way I won't have as much fold over. I use this on my bodies too. A lot of people say that it's expensive. Once again, $7.50 for this, as compared to screwing up a paint job worth $20. Maybe you mess up the kit too. Now we're talking $45, which is cheaper. Let's get this tucked in here. Old man's starting to learn to turn his hands where you can see, Jake, without you smacking me upside my head, huh? Yeah, old dog, new tricks. A little slow on the uptake, but we're getting there. Alright. I'll tuck around here. 2 more little pieces. Now, like I always say, it might be a little time consuming, but the other way to do this, and you paint the radiator aluminum, then you just fit these pieces in. That might be the easiest way to do it too, but both ways, you need to learn to do both. So we're just picking this way today. Actually, the willies, we'll be doing that with it. Yeah, I can hear them now. How come we ain't done the willies yet? Because I'm still trying to set the table and I'm a little slow on the uptake. Don't know what to tell you. Can you believe he said that on the phone today? I didn't answer the phone because I was watching the Packer game. Jeez, oh man, I could see if it was the Steelers, but Packer game? For a kid that lives in New York? I don't know. Johnny Snyder, you're getting beat up again, buddy. I can hear somebody right now that's watching this going, no. Take your time. Do it once, do it right. Actually, doing it the other way is the easiest way to do it. But we work with what we have to work with, right, Jake? Jake ain't saying much today. What, not enough coffee today? Shaking your head no. I did give you iced tea. Come on, caffeine boy. I tried to help the situation, huh? Alright, people, just a little bit more. Worst part of it is I'm being this meticulous about this and this thing gets weathered anyways. What the hell am I doing? Doing it the right way. Yeah, that's one thing I do miss, Jake. I miss being able to blast the stereo. I'm used to that. Ah! Okay, as far as I can tell, we have all the surfaces covered. That's what you end up with. Now we're going to go out into the airbrush booth. We're going to give this a quick shot. And I'll show you a little bit of how the Metalizer works and how well it works. It's impressive how quickly it dries. I also use it as a primer underneath my metallics and pearls. As I've said before, everybody knows. What the hell you mean you don't use primer? It's just an extra coat. When we start into the final prep of the Willys body and everything, you're going to watch me do it. Take your body all the way up to 12,000. Take any part all the way up to 12,000. Properly sand it, shoot it. You don't have scratch marks. You don't have body marks. You don't have any body work showing either. Okay. Jake, can you see this? Okay. Now, this I shot a couple weeks ago at the end of the one segment after I signed off from you guys. Now, that is just what you want for this particular road rally car. Now, I will touch in the lug nuts, but I will make those a different color. Actually, I don't even think this might be just a standard aluminum. I might have to reshoot these, I don't know. But I'm happy with them. They'll serve its purpose. They beat the hell out of the way the chrome ones came in the kit. I wasn't a great lover of that. Okay, we've got this. We've got these parts. We'll go in, we'll shoot the metalizer. Bing, bang, out, in and out. And then I'm going to shoot a Willys body in a frame only to show you the pitfalls of painting a Willys body. I did it when I first started. There were places where my paint was a little thinner than what it should have been, crooks and crevices and all that other happy stuff. Actually, I'm painting this in Snyder's passion, as in John Snyder, as this big, strong badass, and he found out that messing with the old man wasn't the smartest thing, because I always pay back, and my paybacks last forever. So this is the base for Johnny Snyder's color, and it's paint. So, off to the airbrush booth, catch up with you in a minute. Okay, as I said, this stuff dries ultra quick. This is the aluminum plate buffing. Okay, so make sure that you shake this up before you use it. It's just like everything else, you know, product prevention. Okay, you can see a little bit of residue in there, not much at all. This stuff is thin. I usually use about 20 pounds or 20 psi with this. As always, this jar was specifically used for the metalizer, therefore there was no cleaning or anything else like that, because I used the stuff like why do water. So, let me see here. In case I would lose you to the compressor where I'm not doing any talking, this will indicate how fast this dries, because I'm going to make a couple passes with this. I'm going to hit the radiator, and then I'm going to be able to pull a new strip, flip this stuff over, shoot it, because it's going to be dry already. And this is just like everything else. Nice, smooth coats. Make sure you kind of cover though, that's all. Let go of it. Thank you. There we go. Don't be afraid to move. Alright, hit this side of the rad, like I said, lighten its coat. Alrighty then. Some strip. we're doing, flipping this stuff over. It's already dry. Now you have to handle this stuff gingerly. Reason being, because it will come off in your hand, or onto your hand. So, just so you know, not so, just so you know. Okay, do me a favor. Go in and get the pipe nipple. Get those 4 wheels and bring them on here, please. Alright guys, gals. This stuff's all dry. As I said, I use it with the Metalizer base. Or I'm sorry, I use the Metalizer base underneath my my pearls and my metallics because it gives a reflective quality, so it helps brighten it, bringing out the richness and the depth of the color.
You want to put it on your model, right?
Yeah. Alright. So, we're going to go 1, 2, yeah. 3, and I'm just going to put this on the paper. Alright, now we're going back to it again. Nice smooth strokes. Up, and we got to run away. Again, if you notice, it's all missed coats. Alright, we got all that. That's coated. Now, one thing I will caution you about, when you are using the masking tape, and I have done it, that's why I'm telling you to be careful with this. It's real easy, especially with the semi-gloss black, to miss a part. Say a coil, say a little bit of an electrical box, so on and so forth. So make sure that you check your masking tape thoroughly before you ball it up and throw a part away, because I've done it. Okay, everything's covered, everything's coated, as I said. It's dry. Alright, that's all the time we have for today. I'll catch up with you. I promise we get to the Willie's body. That'll be next week. Once again, it's just my way of doing it. I'll show you. This way, if you want, you can jump back and forth. You can view that, where the hell, or what the hell I'm doing with it. And that way, you've got some idea as to what's going to happen when we paint ours. You can practice a little bit. It's time for me to take off. I'll see you next week. Have a good week. God bless. Go man. I'm out.